We're back.
Hi. How y'all doing today? What's happening?
We back. It's SW Podcast Wednesday. Y'all celebrate. Yay. Celebrate the
What's happening,
movement.
y'all? What's going on? It's it's SW Podcast Wednesday. It is Wednesday, November 16th, and it's Scorpio season, and
Yeah.
Scorpio's been showing out this season. We appreciate the Scorpios. We love them.
Them
And
scorps.
yes, they showing out. They doing their thing. But we almost getting ready to jump out of Scorpio season and jump into Sagittarius season. But over
Chabu.
here, it don't really matter because it's SW podcast season.
And
And
we Capricorns and Pisces, so it damn sure don't matter.
although I love all the signs. I love all the signs. So,
Shall do, but I don't.
I'm a Pisces, so that we love all
But
the
it depends on like what people got when it comes down to signs.
Mm-hmm.
Like you born, I'm Capricorn, and I gotta actually check what sign I was actually. I'm Capricorn by my birthday, but what sign it was, what actually sign it was, the Earth sign that it was during the time that I was born, because it could have been Gemini, it could have been Virgo. I want to say it could have been Virgo because I got a little Virgoism in me too, though. So, but who knows? Who knows? So I got to check that out.
You don't know what the sun sign was or the moon sign was for that night.
At that time, night. So, and I was born in the evening time, late evening.
Yeah.
I was born. So, yeah. Oh, both of my kids was born like that too. But one was born at night, but one was born like late evening, like 5-ish to 6-ish. I think that was Zoe. And Rashad was born at night.
Both of mine were born morning. They were born before.
Got morning babies.
Got morning babies.
Before 8 o'clock?
Yep, that's why they both like to sleep at all day and all night. Because I had my kids early like me. I'm an early riser, so they came how I be. Yeah.
Hey, that's what it is then, Queen. That's what it is.
So what's up, y'all? What's happening? We're gonna have, our show today is the past. Let the past stay there. And today we're gonna be talking about reasons why you should leave the past behind and walk to the new future, because there are so many reasons why you do not need to be stuck and holding on to something that isn't doing you justice. Even things that have done you justice is still it's an expiration on it if you're not dealing with it regularly. It's an expiration on certain things. So we're going to talk about today when to leave the past in the past and how to. So let's jump into the show. We're going to do the quote of the day for the day. The quote of the day.
The quote of the day.
The quote of the day broken into like 2 parts, child. Let's see how they got this on here. There's a line. There is a fine balance between honoring the past and losing yourself in it. For example, you can acknowledge and learn from mistakes you made and then move on and refocus on the now. It is called forgiving yourself. So I could just say that part. So it's called forgiving yourself. So the quote of the day basically is saying that at some point you do have to let go. You do have to just say, you know what, in order for me to proceed, in order for me to get this balance in my life and get the peace that I'm seeking, I have to decide that at some point this has to demise.
Yeah.
Queen, what you think of the quote?
You got to let go. You got to let go. You can't live you can't live in the past if you're trying to hit to the future. You need to live right here in the present. Period. Because you can't live in the future, because that's the future.
Yeah.
But the past, baby, look, you harping on the past, and then you wonder why you ain't getting nowhere in life.
Because you harping.
Yep, you still focused on what's going on in the past, child. You leave that where it's at. You don't never forget. You ain't gonna never forget your past, because it taught you some lessons back there. That's right. Why you where you at. That's why you at right now. But
That's
you
the
gotta let
biggest
it
thing.
go.
That's the
You gotta let
biggest
it go.
thing. Your past is gonna have a couple things in mind when you're dealing with your past. You got lessons and you got blessings. Either
Mm-hmm.
or are still reasons to say that at some point I gotta, separate myself from that space, because what is it about your past that keep you holding on? And that's what we're gonna talk about today, because it's certain things that go on in your past that keep you harping to your past. And we have so many people, Queen, that today in this space, in their spaces, that literally cannot grow because they're stuck to so many parts of their past. So many parts. And
Just
at
like
some
all of
point,
us.
you got to decide that your past is irrelevant, because if you keep allowing it to be the most relevant thing in your life, what's going to happen, Queen?
You just gonna be living
Day to day,
you
stagnant.
ain't gonna learn, you ain't learning nothing or anything like that, because that's all you thinking about.
That's it.
Phone. Come on now, phone. Don't be acting stupid right about now.
It's really one of those things that you just be like, am I really so concerned with what I've been dealing with that I
Hmm.
have no control on what I should be doing? And
Yeah,
if you caught up in that, then you really are not growing. There's no growth
yeah.
in the past.
And it's a sign of depression.
Yeah.
It's a sign of depression because just thinking about everything that I done been through in the past 6.5 years. My question, like, why I had to go through this? Why I had to get married and all of this end up happening once I got married? Why?
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why. And for a good little minute, I went through that for what, that was 26, that was 2015 when that happened, 2016, 2017. So 27 June of 2017. Baby, my question was why from 2017 to 2018. And when I finally got to 2019, baby, it's like a awakening woke up. Like, girl, you cannot be living like this. It took me a minute, but I was just, I don't know. But I had to figure that thing out.
You
And I
did.
know I
You
couldn't
have
be
to.
living, I couldn't be living like that because I'm like, this ain't you.
I've
This
never
ain't you.
been a person that really harped on the past. And I always, well, before we continue, let me speak to the people. Hey, E, what's happening? What's going on,
What's going
buddy,
on, E?
brother, compadre? What's up, E? Um, and I also put up a comment myself that said you can't grow in the past,
No.
because we are talking about the many reasons why you have to move forward from the past.
Hmm.
So that's a common analogy to know that you can't grow in it. You can't say I'm blossoming in the past, from the
Mm-mm.
past.
You can't blossom.
You can't.
You
There's no
can learn your
flowering there.
lessons and stuff, like,
Exactly.
but you ain't gonna blossom. You ain't gonna blossom. And you're gonna go into a deeper and deeper depression. And baby, that ain't no pretty feeling.
It turns into not, and it won't even be one of them depressions that you know you're in a depression. It's one of them depressions that
Mm-hmm.
you're so used to dealing with it on a day-to-day basis that it
Yep.
becomes normal. What's up,
Yep.
Kelly? What's up,
Hey,
Kelly?
Kels.
How you doing, my brother?
You don't even realize it until you come out of it. You be like, what? Man, look what the hell I was thinking about.
Yep.
But it's a part of life. But it's I don't I don't want nobody to go through depression, but we all go through it at some point in our
Mm-hmm.
life, at different stages in our life.
Mm-hmm.
Some get help for it. Some can just have that awakening and they just, okay, look, I know I got to do better. Let me move around and start doing. But it just depends on that person, depends on that person's characteristics, what it is and all of that. But man, don't live in the past. I'm telling you, because the future is bright and the present is even more fun. That's what I've
it's
learned.
definitely, and it ain't nothing better than the past.
Because you can't go back.
Can't fix it. Is no time machine that can do it for us completely.
I
Yeah,
wish it was.
but it's
But
things
it's
that we
not.
have to just focus on. That's why the now is so important. That's why what we're gonna talk about today, the different reasons as to why you gotta leave things in the past, because the now is so prevalent. There are so many things that are in the now that you need to be focused on that the past can't do good. I mean, the past can only do you harm, and where the future will hold you and keep you stifled because you're so stuck in what you thought the past was going to consume for you. There'll be no future because you're not going. How can you even see a future when you still so stuck in the past?
No future at all, honey.
No. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into the show. And there are so many reasons why the past should stay exactly where it is, and most of that is due to the lessons learned from it. Not all past situations are the same, but if they were lessons more than blessings, don't misconstrue the truth. Either way, take what you can from it, and if it doesn't serve you well, then acknowledge that and move on.
Please move on.
You gotta move on.
Please, you got to move on. I'm telling you, you want to move on.
Yeah.
You want to move on. Because, baby, you hurting yourself. You hurting yourself living in the past.
Yeah.
You really hurting yourself. So move on. Don't worry about it. It's things that you'll never forget, but baby, it's things that you got to let go. That's just what it is. You got to let it go and you got to move forward. But you got to live in the now. You got to live in the now. You better live in the now.
Yeah. So things we hold on to too tight. And when it comes to living in the past, there exists a pattern that constantly repeats itself. Usually it involves things like this. And this is a pattern. And I know once I say some of them, you're gonna know that you've either seen somebody that been like this or you've yourself been this way. Playing the victim.
Ooh.
Pointing fingers at others, blaming our past experiences for our current circumstances, and holding on to anger and refusing to let go.
Chabu.
Needless to say, some of the things we hold on to and patterns they create are destructive and often have quite a negative impact on our lives. While some use their unpleasant past experiences as a fuel to drive them and keep them moving forward, others use it as an excuse to stand still. So you can either become stagnant by using your past, meaning that you're saying that because this happened back in the day, I can't do this, or this happening right now, I can't do this, whatever. And whatever the excuse is, you're being stagnant. Or the other way, you saying that the reason why you act a certain way and that you do a certain thing and you play, point fingers and play victim is because of this, and this. So you're either on the end of living in the past. Is not too many positives that come from it if you're holding on to it.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying, Queen? Like,
yeah,
we can't, like, if you're supposed to let your past be a lesson and it teach you, regardless of what type of lesson it is, it's still supposed to be a lesson that has taught you something. But you're not supposed to just be like to the point where you're holding on to the past till it's stopping you from living.
And a lot of people do, though. A lot of people do. Look here.
Yeah. So
live for now. Live for now. It's very important to live for now.
It is. It's very important because we don't know what tomorrow brings, and or because sometimes tomorrow ain't bringing none of us nothing.
Only time you need to be bringing up your past if you're trying to teach somebody a lesson, that's something that you learned from your past.
A lesson. Everything.
That's it.
If we talking about anything positive from the past, it's because you're talking about it in the manner of a lesson.
A lesson. Got to learn. The past is where it's at, honey.
If it's not in lesson form, ain't no point.
The future is bright, but the here and now is where we at.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So ways to stop living in the past. I got two examples each time that I'm gonna throw out because they kind of mimic each other. But what I want to do is once I give a way to stop living in the past, I'm gonna also give you a reason for why you should leave the past behind. As well. You know what I'm saying? So one way to stop living in the past is to take responsibility and allow yourself to process emotions.
Yeah.
You have to process. And on the other end, you have to make a conscious decision to move on. And without a doubt, the first step to leaving the past behind is actually making the decision to leave the past behind. So a lot of us can't even say that we're willing to do that right now, that I'm ready to let all that go because I have to move forward. But just because you are having to let go, that doesn't mean you have to let go of the memory of things, of the lessons of things, and of the blessings of things. But you do have to let it go.
Yeah, because if you don't let it go, like we just said, you're not gonna grow. You're not gonna grow at all because you just sitting there, just being a little stump, and you just there twiddling your little fingers, moving side to side, but you still in the past. You ain't even thinking about what today is and how you been blessed to get through it. But gotta let it go. Let it go. And especially if you everybody gotta let it go. But if you raising kids, baby, you got to let it go.
Yeah, because you got to, especially if it's hindering you.
It's stopping you from eating. It's stopping you from growing spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, successfully, all of that. It's stopping you from doing all of the stuff that you are put on this earth to actually do.
Yeah. And if it's doing any of those things, it has to be stifled. It definitely has to be stifled. You gotta let that go.
And you got to forgive.
That's the most
that's the
important thing.
lot. That's a lot
That's
of
why they say
reasons
you
with
have
it.
to go through the process of your emotions. You have to process your emotions because in the beginning you're gonna blame yourself. In the middle, you're gonna start having some type of understanding for yourself, and in the end, you're gonna learn how to forgive yourself. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
amazing how many people that don't forgive themselves, though.
It's a
It is
process.
amazing how many people. I always tell people, man, look at God. When you done prayed and you done repented for things that you done done, if you a believer, God already done forgave you. It's like He done forgave you and He done erased everything that you did, but you still holding on to it. You still beating yourself up about something that you already done repented for.
And whatever way that it takes you to get to understanding that forgiving yourself is a natural process in being a human, until you get to that understanding, you're never going to forgive yourself. You'll constantly sit up and take reason to say this is the reason why I'm like this is the reason why I'm like this, instead of deciding that the things that made you who you are is a problem. Take it as a way to make it a win.
Yeah.
You got to make life a win.
Got to.
The next one is understanding the reason for your attachment to the past. To me, that is huge.
Yeah. Pain, hurt, someone passing. That I know someone passing can have people living in the past because of just the pain. The pain can be so unbearable for some people. But you got to let it go. Got to let it go. Got to.
So with the understanding the reason for your attachment to the past, there comes in turn the past has no power over the present moment. And to me, I think that can be a rocky thing to say for some people, because a lot of people will allow things that go on in the past to have power over what's happening in their present. So it just depends on the person. It depends on the person's foundation. It depends on the person's spirituality. It depends on how they process things, and if they're not strong enough to be able to say, "Phew, back up, it's over. I'm done with that."
Yeah.
So it just depends. I think I think that part really does depend on the person, because no matter how strong you may be, you still have times where you need somebody else to lift you up a little bit.
Oh yeah. Most definitely. Can't do it by yourself now. Can't do it by yourself at all. But we be scared to reach out. We be scared to reach out, and that go back to the past. People be scared to reach out because of what people then done to them in the past when they
Mm-hmm.
have reached out.
Yep, the trauma from that, holding on
Hmm.
to it. So you also have to identify what you learned from the experience and forgive yourself for what you didn't know. Huh. That's so big, because again, we just talking about people do not forgive themselves. If you can constantly bring up what beat you down and what did this and what did that, you are holding on to trauma, and you trauma bonding with people that have significant things that compare to what you've been through. So you'll get to know people and befriend people, or easily befriend certain people because of things that you've been through.
Hmm. And that can be a kind of bad thing and a good thing to a certain
Yes.
degree.
Yes, it
It
just
can,
kind
it
of
really
depends
can.
on who the person is and what type of
Hmm.
trauma they still going through. Because if they coming to you talking about things that they've been through in the past, they still holding on.
Hmm. And y'all spirits connecting with one another because of the similar stuff that
Mm-hmm.
y'all done
That y'all resonate
that
together.
y'all done resonated together. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's real out here. Boy, I'm telling you, the
That
spiritual
energy is
connection
real.
is that energy is real.
Yep.
It is so real. Cause I'm gonna say this right quick. I asked you about somebody, and that person showed up the next day. It's like I just asked you, and that happened to me all the time. It's to the point that I be having Harold scared when I talk to him, and I be like, Meeks, da 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 da. Candace, I don't want to hear it. Don't say nothing. I don't want to hear it because every time you say something or you ask me about somebody, they show up, Candace. The next day, it's like you just. He said, "Girl, don't. I don't want to hear no dreams because everything you say it manifests, Candace." I'm like, hey,
About it. So you can't, and being a purposeful person, you have that. So I totally understand, and we can.
you
But
already know how it is, Queen.
it's crazy. It's really crazy. It's really crazy. So who we got just joined in? We got Diallo. What's going on, Diallo Game Man?
Hey,
I said his whole government name, child. He's
I mean the whole name.
the whole
She
thing.
she
Even
put the
though it popped
whole
up on the
name out there.
screen, it did pop up on the screen. But so the next one is you got to identify any positive aspects of the experience and realize that admission is the first step to growth. So let me say this. Let me say this really quickly, because a lot of us we create our own demise. Um,
Mm,
and
that's
when we
true.
start to have admission to certain things, it definitely opens up doors for us, and it gives us understanding of why we're going through some of the things we're going through. So we only grow when we realize that we're not too big to make mistakes. Everyone makes them. We don't have to beat ourselves up over it. Once we're able to admit that we simply hadn't attained the required level of growth and experience necessary for the success at that time, we can then look at the past event as a learning opportunity. For doing this, we do not only turn a bad event into a good angle, but we also get to learn from it and make it become grown as mature as we think that we were. So the reason why that is important is this right here. Two key things from that. The first one is giving yourself the understanding that in order for you to grow is that you have to have certain experiences.
Yeah.
First key thing. Key thing number one is the experiences. The second key thing is that you at that point had to experience that to make you see what level of letting go and admission
Hmm.
to your faults in that situation that you played Two key things now. You develop the experience from it. And the second one is from the experience, you get to see what role you played in it.
That's deep, that Queen. That's deep, that Queen. I never even looked at it like that. I never even thought about it like that.
Admission is the first step. You got to take responsibility in your own shit. That's
period.
How can I sit up?
But everybody don't like to take responsibility though.
Well, then that's why it's a key thing, and that's why you ain't. And a lot of people missing the key thing. They're skipping a major step. You can't jump to the end. You can't jump to the end. Because guess what? At some point, you're going to boop, 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 fall back.
Always trying to skip over the middle.
It's that middle part.
Always trying to skip over the middle. Because that be the hard part.
It be the toughest part.
Yeah, it be the hard part. That when it comes to business, when it comes to everything, people always try to skip over the middle. Baby, you got to go through the struggle to get to the win. You got to go through the struggle to get to the win.
Well, in order for that to happen, though, you have to be willing to accept things in order to see things in your growth. And there's no win without failures. It just like we can't skip that middle. The beginning make you feel like it's perfect. Because you feeling nothing but boom, angst, gusto, spontaneity,
excitement,
creativity, excitement, boom, 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 bam. Then you start seeping into slow seasons and then deaths and horrors and job declines and different things that start to affect the economy and things that affect your life. People get sick. People in your family get sick. It becomes a whole middle journey.
But you got to still be excited through the process. Through that middle process. And I still got to be excited.
I was talking to someone today, and one of my coworkers, and we were talking about the fact that it was like, Shell, what I see is the fact that people think with you is that you just make it look easy because you don't show the middle process. And because of that, they don't see what goes on behind the scenes with you. They don't see the struggle. They don't see the hurt. They don't see the tears. They don't see the pain.
Doing, I can do it. She'll be doing it, I can do it.
Or baby. Not even the fact that if she can do it, I can do it. How does she do it? Why does she do it? Instead of it being something that encourages, you take it as a way to make it look as if it shouldn't go that way for that person. Or or somebody got to be doing it for. It's different reasons. Like people don't look at your actions as a positive. They look at it as if well, I can make it look like that too because she make it look like that. That ain't true. You don't know. Ain't true. You don't know.
You don't know the hell and high water I'm going through.
You don't know who she praying to, who she talking to. She could be scalping the businessman. She could be robbing Peter to pay Paul. You don't know what's going on.
Right, her sacrificing people and all. You don't know. You don't know.
This is a
Stay in front of your own porch and sweep.
And pay attention to it.
Yep.
Pay attention to it. This is a big one. Let go of being a victim.
Oh, child. Boy, there's some victim people out here, honey. And I just be like, you really need to shut up. You really need to just shut up. Always want to play victim. And I hate it. I can't stand a person that would be wanting to play victim. Because I just be like, oh, child, I don't like it. It get up under my skin.
It's a huge thing. People live off of that. Some people actually don't go to work because they can live off somebody else doing things for them because they know how to make it look a certain type of way. So it's
right.
real. It's huge.
Always want to play the victim role. Child, boo.
And the upside to that, I mean, or the upside or downside is you got to discard negative memories that no longer serve you. And baby, let me tell you why that's so big. Y'all be sitting right here like, okay, if a relationship was bad, okay, but you want to pretend like it's good, right? So you sit up here saying yourself, you sitting up here telling yourself, you reminding yourself of the 20% or 30% good that you had in the relationship, but trying to erase the fact that you had 70, 80% bad. Ooh, because you're trying to use this little 20%. You holding on so tight to it. Let go of that. What is this serving you? What is that serving you?
Setback.
You're creating a constant line of despair to your demise. And I really, and what makes that really sad for me is that we know for a split second that everything can be taken from us just like this, right? Just like that. Anything can happen. Anything. And instead of us trying to realize that every day is the most key and most important, valuable key day. Every day, you got to treat every single day like it's your last. So it don't matter if you have an emotional day. Yes, you're human. Have an emotional day.
Yeah.
Be human. But you do have to have the thought process in your mind that this could be your last day, and these are your last thoughts, and these are your last things, and these are your last. So that's a lot of the reason why I be trying to choose to be so happy and trying to put, and that's a lot of the reason why even becoming a life coach in my certification class, they told one of the things that they drilled to us is that you cannot allow people's things to stick to you. You got to find a way to release
it.
Them. When you're done with them, you have to learn how to release yourself of it. And
leave it where it's at.
You got to. And Queen, I'm telling you, when I learned that made things so much more easier to do. It made it so much more easier to do the job and to do the task. But also in being a person who is in that form, you have to have an empathetic and sympathetic heart. It doesn't matter if you leave it where it is or if you take it with you. If you decide that you are going to be taken on a task as such, your heart and soul has to be able to be understanding. And that is key to being and making people have that understanding of letting go of being that victim, that victimology. So I can't help anybody and talk to anybody about something if I've not been through it, number one. And also if I'm still playing that role.
Can't do that. You can't help nobody.
That's hypocritical.
Yeah, you can't help nobody. Why would we be listening to you when you still going through the same thing?
And because people forget you're human now. You might have an episode where something happened in your life, and it can, because you are a human being. But people act like because you got this going on with you, it shouldn't. You above that. That's not supposed to happen.
Why she feeling like that? She got this, she got that. Even one of my homeboys told me one time. He was, I don't know what I was upset about or something. He was like, Queen, I ain't never heard you like this. Like, he was like, what the other person? Because this ain't you. I was like, man, I'm human. Like, I have shit that I go through too.
That's right.
I just like you said, you just try to keep yourself lifted because it is a lot of people that depend on you.
Right.
For that, to lift them up.
Exactly.
Like people literally be looking for you to lift them up. That's why I made that quote that day. Baby, you need to pour into others as they have poured into you, lifting you up. Everybody can't be always around here lifting you up. Because us that's lifting people up, baby, we need lifting too.
You gotta refill. Because your recharge only comes from if people get to pour back into you. Like, because especially if you're drained, you can't pretend to go on if you're drained. Like I when I felt drained and felt like I needed to be poured into, I took a day to sleep because I knew that's what I needed. I was like, I just need some rest.
Oh, I go out there and be earthing.
I need time to not think about things. I need time to actually sleep through a lot of these thoughts. But as Kel said today, Kel said, Cheryl, when you sleep, your brain and everything's still going.
Yeah.
Your body's sleeping.
That conscious is still going.
That conscious and everything's still feet. And I knew that. I know that. So that's why sometimes you wake up with this on your brain, this on your head, first thing when you hit the feet, the floor, because of the things that you dreamt about and thought about and been,
that's why it's important to listen to positive affirmations. I used to listen to them at night and just let them play all night long.
It's a good thing.
All night long. Because you do, like, man, that's subconscious. Baby, that thing be running still. Just like you was up walking around. I mean, very, very. The mind is, baby. The
next thing you have to do is remember that apologies aren't always necessary, but forgiveness is. So just because somebody don't tell you they're sorry, that don't mean you gotta hold on to it.
I like that. That's true. Let it go.
You gotta let it go. That's letting go is so hard though. It's so hard for so many people.
It is.
I think especially when you're those people who are loyal to a fault, like to no fault, like they, an extensive amount of loyalty.
Yeah, that's
where they don't even have a cap that they can put they can't even close off the top of the bottle with it because it's
expiration date is over. Their expiration date been over, but you still holding up. Their expiration date to you was over, but your expiration date to them ain't over because you still holding on like this. When they didn't say it.
Yep. Or they only pop in and out because when they need you.
They need that recharge.
Mm-hmm.
They need your positive energy, your positive thoughts.
Yep.
Trying to come suck you dry. You better go out there and be earth and take your shoes off, walk out there in that grass and dirt and pray to the Lord.
And a great place to do it, you can go out to a lake or to a beach and just go and,
It's always good to go talk to the water.
Mm-hmm. The water talk back too.
Mm-hmm.
You got to learn to live in the present moment. The present moment, y'all. That's the present moment is one of the most important moments and the most key moments of our lives right now, because we letting go of the past, remember, and we don't know what lies ahead in the future, but we do know what we're doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
We on this podcast right now. Once we get off the podcast in a couple minutes, we don't know what's going to be happening next. We got a plan, but that's still the future.
But we don't know.
Because that's 20 minutes later.
And that plan change.
And that plan can change.
It can definitely change.
But in 20 minutes, if you're still moving around and you go past that moment, that's the present for you. You in the present. So it's going to come if you here. And if you don't start to take in those moments to embrace it, you're going to miss it. You missing it. No, it ain't no you going to miss it. You are missing it.
One thing I have learned, when I turned 40, it's something about that 4 and that 0. I don't care what nobody say. Nobody say. Because I done seen a lot of my peoples turn 40. And baby, when I turned 40, I really was like, dang, I'm finna live. And I'm finna live in this moment, in this present time. And that's exactly what I'm doing. Because I was like, I wasn't doing that when I was in my 30s or in my 20s probably when I was a teenager, but I was living at home with my mama, so I didn't have no worries and really no cares, none but about what little Negro likes me and who I likes and
That's
getting
right.
his homework done and friends. But I said when I turn 40, baby, my life, and I'm finna do a complete 360. I'm finna worry about Candace, what's important to Candace. I'm finna raise these children. I'm finna do that, get them straight. But I'm really focusing on me,
Mm-hmm.
my joy, my happiness, because I know my kids got to have their own joy and happiness. My kids finna be at, I ain't finna have nobody at home with me sooner or later.
You're not.
So I got to focus on me. And when I turn 40, that's what I'm like, I'm finna live for this present moment, day to day. I'm gonna prepare for the future. I'm definitely gonna prepare for it, but I can't live in the past no more.
That's right.
I can't think about what he did, what your mama did, your grandma did, your daddy did. I can't think about that no more. I can't even worry about that. I really don't care no more, to be honest with you. I done forgave you. If you ain't forgave me, I really don't give a F if you
That's
did.
your business.
That's your business. Cause I know I have. Cause it goes back to what you said. That loyalty, baby, my loyalty, when I'm loyal, I'm loyal. I'm with you.
Yep.
And I hold on too long. But baby, 40 was like, Candace, I ain't holding on to none of y'all no more. You can all be deuces real quick. Like real quick. Any little thing that I see that you do that I don't like, that affect me, baby, I'm really like,
And sometimes, and a lot of those times, it's no explanation because um, you gotta keep, you gotta this is gonna be the last one. There's a couple more, but I want to just use this one as the last one to show you another reason why it's so important to to let go. It's the best one though. Not all right.
why you looking like that, Queen?
Like reflection and obsession.
Oh.
These are two right here that they're because they're differences.
Mm-hmm.
There's times when you take on the moment of living in reflection in the memory, and there's another time when you just completely obsess with what's happened in that memory. That's why you so stuck.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason why I feel like this is the most important one is because a lot when things happen that separate you from a person or a memory or a past situation in a tragic manner, in a way that it took away you feel like the world came to an end because y'all relationship over. A person lost a parent, different things of that nature. We tend to, and this is we tend to obsess over it versus taking the time to reflect and
Yeah.
focus on the memories of that person. We tend to obsess over the fact that they're no longer here.
Yeah. We do.
We
We
do.
do. We really do. And it's
So
hard.
yes,
It's hard
it really is,
because it don't seem real,
and it don't feel right.
and it don't feel right, and it takes time. It takes time. I can recall when we lost my cousin when I think I was like 13. And when we lost him, I was so used to seeing him every summer, and we used to go back to Polk County like for Christmas, Thanksgiving. So I was used to him coming from North Carolina. Like, dang. So when he passed that summer, I went back, and I'm like, well, where Junior at? Like, cousin ain't come. He just passed in May.
That's crazy.
And that it took a while. Like, it took our family a while to really like to get through that. It took all of us a while to get through that because that was hard for our family. That was real hard for our family. But even today, all of us get together, we start reminiscing. He the first person that come up.
Hmm.
first person that's so full of life. Lord have mercy, he was. I could just see him now. Just he was a jokester, handsome as can be, and just a straight jokester. Bad as hell at times. But the pain, it gets softer, but the memory never die. Never
it's
die.
forever there.
Forever.
Yeah. And that's what we have to remember. Like, we gotta get, at some point we do get to that place where we can reflect, and it becomes a point of reflection versus versus devastation. And so when you're moving on from the past, is not an easy task. Not at all. If it were, many people would not be finding it hard to do. Yet. Given how vital the act is to shaping our future success in life, it is something that everyone must learn. Once we make a conscious decision to move on, we must equally be reflective without being obsessive and cultivate discipline. Be unattached, accept our doing this, we give ourselves the greatest chance to get rid of our demons and building a better future. Because the future is full of possibilities. When we take that time to just, to let go of these things, we do start to see light at the end of the tunnel. It does start to become a little bit easier. It doesn't become that way from in the beginning. No, it's gonna depend on you. It's gonna depend on you. But you also have to know that the longer you grieve, the longer you grieve, and the longer you hold on to it in a manner to where it's keeping you stagnant, that's exactly how you're going to be. You got to get through it, and it does, because the past holds nothing for you except memories. So let them go and walk into a newer future with hope and faith. And
that's it.
That's
hope and faith.
That's the key. It's the key. But also remember now, hope hope is a little bit of moving forward. It's not just a steadfast thing, because you got to take that time to get to that even point of saying, I hope I can sleep tonight. I hope I can do that, because you ain't even thinking about it in the beginning on what you're going through. So once you start seeing it, the light getting a little thin, you starting to see a little light. Now you're starting to say, okay, now I'm hoping for this, I'm hoping for that. Because in the beginning, you so caught up in the hurt and the pain of what happened, you ain't even looking forward to healing yourself. You too, because you so caught up in the grief.
Yeah.
But after grief becomes healing, and in that healing process, you got to start setting some boundaries of hope, putting some things in place that are going to get you prepared for healing even more. It's not an overnight process. And I say that because I'm telling myself that in every aspect as well. It's not an overnight process. We have to know that the grieving process is real. Is real.
And you got to just speak. Like, you got to speak, I am healed.
Yes.
I am healed. Not
I
I
am
shall
already
be.
there.
Yeah, not I shall be healed. I am healed. You got to speak it like you already there.
That's why
So it
I
can
don't like
come.
words like hope and try. But I know that most people have to go through the hope phase before they get to the I can, or I am, or I will. Me personally, I like to jump straight into it.
Yeah.
Cause I know me. I don't if I get too consumed in my own hurts and my own pity for myself and how I feel, then when I get too involved in that, queen, I start to actually see myself as that, and
As that, yeah.
I
And you
can't
can't do
do it.
that.
I'm not.
You can't do that.
I'm way too positive for that. I'm way too encouraging, and I can't do that. It's just not me. So, that's our show today, y'all. Lead the past where it is, and I'm and another remembrance that I said already in the beginning. when we were walking into the show. I said that in your past, you're either going to have lessons or you're going to have blessings. Do not forget what those lessons taught you. Do not forget who those people showed you they were, who they showed you they are. Do not forget that things that were you thought that were for you turned out to not be for you, so you're not to backtrack to it. It was never for you. Don't end up at a job that you know made you eat crow. Do not take back anything that harmed you
at all.
and that's in all
At all.
seriousness. Let your
Growth,
past go.
growth.
All right. We appreciate y'all for tuning in today. Thank y'all so much. It's SW Podcast, and we will see y'all next week. Peace.
SW Podcast Wednesdays.